Good Monday morning and welcome to Twin number 39, This Week in Nerd News, and I have 5 cybersecurity pieces to share with you today. In this very first one, we have a frightening Exchange Outlook Autodiscover bug that has exposed over 100,000 email passwords already. And back in 2007, when Microsoft created this protocol, it wasn't yet a security first kind of thinking process. It's unclear at this point how this bug will ever be solved for good because Autodiscover client software is so widely distributed. And because it works on the very simple premise of someone potentially mistyping an email address and therefore sending the password to a would-be attacker who's making use of this bug, it turns out that every single company that's using Exchange or Office 365 is vulnerable to this, unless you use multi-factor authentication if you aren't already. And start doing that today. This year, so far, has broken the record for zero-day hacking attacks. This trend is a little scary, but it is definitely a complicated trend. Partly because as defenders, we today have better platforms, but also security researchers are working for bounties. And while 0 days today fetch more money on the black market than ever, just check out Zerodium as an example of a market that buys and sells 0 days. And in our next story, we have a 0-day flaw that allows remote execution even on fully patched Macs as of today. And a security researcher found that Apple has only partially fixed the security flaw that was affecting all versions of macOS. And Apple tried to fix this problem silently, but it didn't work properly, so it left millions of Macs vulnerable to remote code execution without any warning or prompt at all. So for now, if you're on a Mac, don't open any attachments, especially not any that end in .inetloc, inet. Location services is the piece that's vulnerable here. And on Thursday of this week, at 10:01:15 Eastern Time, a good chunk of the internet will break for all kinds of devices because of the Let's Encrypt root certificate that is expiring. So if you have a computer, for example, that's running Windows XP's Service Pack 3, before that I should say, if you have a Mac OS that's running an earlier version than 10.12.1, any iOS devices before version 10, so that would be anything below an iPhone 5, any Android before 7.1, any Firefox before 50, Ubuntu before 16.04, and so forth. There's a list on this article that shows which devices have not gotten the new root certificate, cross-signed root certificate in order to buy Let's Encrypt websites another a few years of this. And in our fifth story, we have thousands of Netgear routers that can be hacked and what you need to do. And ironically, this is a parental control software that's at the root of this hackability. So if you have any of these affected models, you want to upgrade and patch the firmware as soon as possible. And did you know that even the NSA and the CIA use ad blockers because online advertising is so dangerous? So one of the simplest ways to have this built in for your protection is to use the Brave browser if you're on a desktop. So enjoy your journey on safer browsing. And of course, on the mobile side of things, you need router-based ad blocking. So I will, of course, shamelessly let you know that Atom 1 is your best option. Take care. See you next week.